Guests, delegates, tech enthusiasts, investors and potential investors, welcome to this parallel session where we're discussing about ICT, a vibrant investment platform. In Nepal, ladies and gentlemen, the ICT sector is not just a flourishing industry, but it's a catalyst for transformation, offering a myriad of potential investment avenues that are ripe for exploration and innovation. Thank you very much for joining us as we navigate through the landscape of ICT investment opportunities in Nepal, unlocking the full potential of this dynamic sector to drive economic growth and societal advancement. We'd like to start by acknowledging and requesting our session chair to kindly join us onto the stage, Honorable Rekha Sharma, Minister for Communication and Information Technology, Government of Nepal. Please do join me in welcoming her with a thundering round of applause. माननीय मन्त्रीज्यूलाई धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद आजको कार्यक्रममा उपस्थित भइदिनु भएकोमा यहाँको गरिमामय उपस्थितिका लागि हामी धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद भन्न चाहन्छौं यहाँलाई. We'd also like to invite our presenter Mr. Karthik up onto this stage from DTTI India. Thank you very much sir for joining us. We'd also like to request our moderator Mr. Siddhartha Raja, Senior Digital Development Specialist, the World Bank Group, to kindly join us onto the stage. We also have some incredible panelists joining us in this particular session. We'd like to request Mr. Dipesh Bishta, the CEO of E-Governance Commission, to kindly join us on stage. Mr. Bhupendra Bhandari, Chairman of Nepal Telecommunications Authority. Mr. Javor Kayumo, CEO and Managing Director of Ncell Axiata Limited. Thank you very much, Mr. Zabor, for giving us your time, joining us in this particular session. We'd also like to invite Dr. Aditya Jha, Indo-Nepalese Canadian serial entrepreneur in the sector of ICT. Thank you very much, sir, for giving us your precious time and joining us this afternoon. We'd also like to invite onto the stage Mr. Manor Kumar Bhattrai, an ICT expert, to kindly join us and share some fantastic insights with us throughout this session. Ladies and gentlemen, the panel for ICT is all set, and I must say that I'm really, really excited to hear the amazing insights that all our panelists and our presenter are going to bring forward. Without any further delay, may I please request Mr. Karthik for his presentation.
Yeah, Honorable Minister for Communication and Information Technology, distinguished panel members, and ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon. Today I'll be presenting to you about ICT ecosystem in Nepal and what are the key opportunities and the way forward for driving this sector. So there are 4 topics that I will be discussing today. The first part on the existing ecosystem in Nepal and what are the emerging trends that we see globally. And the second part is on the opportunities for investment in ICT sector in Nepal. And the third being what are the key learnings from successful IT hubs in South Asia. And the last part will be on what are the interventions that are required to further fast track the growth of this ICT sector. To begin with a quick brief about the macro statistics at 3 different parts. First is how are IT and ITS companies contributing domestically, which is about greater than 200 million USD and about contributing to 1.5% of Nepal's GDP. And the second, in terms of export earnings, they have been contributing greater than 500 million USD and growing at a rapid pace of about 65%. And also contributing about little less than 5% to the forex reserves. And on the third level, at independent professionals level, the annual income of the IT professionals has been little above 7,000 USD per year. And in terms of number of workforce that are joining, it's about 9,000 graduates on an annual basis. And in terms of companies and experts, freelance experts, companies around 100+ companies. And in terms of freelancers, we see thousands of people who are doing this as a freelance profession. In terms of Nepal's positioning in the ICT value chain, if you see broadly, there are 2 segments. The first segment is the product development segment, which is your IT software and applications development. The second part is on the IT/ITES. Going a little more detail, say, if you see, take the IT software, which includes application system software development, research and development, and engineering. Nepal's presence has been limited in that. And whereas Nepal is doing or growing extremely well in the second part of it, which is the IT-enabled services, which is significantly into back-office operations like revenue accounting and BPO services, content development, and so on and so forth. And these are low-value, high-volume services, which is the trend which is also seen in other Asian peer countries as well. In terms of emerging trends that are enabling the growth of the IT sector, we are seeing 6 major trends that is driving the growth or enabling the growth of IT sector. A, which is digitization. Both organizations at private as well as government are moving towards digitization, which is helping enabling this sector's growth. And B is the low-cost advantage and the skilled labor force that is available in these developing countries, which once again helps in driving growth of the sector. And third is the government policies, which play a very critical role in attracting investments through fiscal as well as non-fiscal incentives. And the fourth one is in terms of e-commerce, which once again is helping come up with innovative startups and others in this space. Fifth one is globalization. Given that companies are looking for economies of scale and globalization, I think that's once again fueling the IT sector. The last is on the mergers and acquisitions, which is helping in the IT sector is companies are looking for innovative solutions that can be taken to their customers at a very short time. And this gives really startups the advantage to come up with innovative solutions and help in consolidating or partnering with larger players to take it to customers at a very short time. And what does all these things mean for Nepal? So Nepal, the first part, if you see the first 3 things, I think Nepal has to play to strengths and try to consolidate and continue to grow in those spaces, which is your ITS and BPO services, and software development and cyber security as well. And the other parts, if you see, is predominantly, I would put it under 2 buckets. One is your hard infrastructure part, and the other is the softer part. If you take, for example, hard infrastructure, there's plenty of investment opportunities in setting up IT parks and IT townships and data centers. In fact, one of the MOUs that we saw yesterday was for a large data center, and also for IT skilling centers. In terms of softer elements, the investment opportunities are in these emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence or machine learning and gaming and online payment systems as well. Interestingly, yesterday, one of the hydel power generation companies, which was talking about success stories in Nepal, was emphasizing about utilizing the latest technologies for their hydel power projects. And given that Nepal has a talent pool here, I think it all makes sense to collaborate with the industry to see how locally we can contribute to these latest technologies. And like I said, once again, IT sector growth is seen across various sectors, once again, education, finance, healthcare, and so on. In terms of learnings from our peers in the South Asian region, we have seen, we have taken 4 hubs in India and 1 in Bangladesh. And in India, we have seen Gurugram, Noida, Bangalore, and Pune. There are 4 key common things that we are seeing as successful, that has contributed to their success. The first thing is robust government policy, which has helped in coming up with innovative PPP model for developing IT parks, and very close coordination with the industry players and associations to develop policies. And the second is in terms of availability of skilled workforce. I think both government and private sector educational institutions' presence in these cities has helped in coming up with skilled talent. Third is the infrastructure, which in terms of connectivity with through international airport or your metros and public transport has really helped in bringing in the talent and facilitating easy movement. And the last is ease of doing business. So all these hubs have one-stop solutions at the state level as well as at city level, irrespective of the investment size. So they have an online system to get all the government permits to do business. And there are certain unique initiatives we have seen by these IT hubs or states that have done, which has helped in propelling the growth. Take, for example, in Bangalore in Karnataka, the state has collaborated very closely with the industries as well as the educational institutions into translating customized educational programs. And the state has also focused on going beyond Bangalore because Bangalore is congested. So they want to go beyond Bangalore to other areas to ensure regional development. In Noida, we have seen private sector-led development, which has been fueled once again by the state's IT-specific policies for development of PPP parks. And in terms of Dhaka, Bangladesh, they have set up an authority to develop 28 industrial IT parks across the country and also establish training centers beyond Dhaka. And in Pune, Maharashtra, we have seen that the social infrastructure and the educational infrastructure has played a key role in attracting talent to it. In terms of way forward and interventions required in Nepal to further accelerate development in the sector, I see four thematic areas. The first one on regulatory and policy aspect, which once again the country needs to have very sector-specific, comprehensive IT policy, ensuring there are fiscal and non-fiscal benefits. If I say fiscal, it could be rental or recruitment-related subsidies that could be provided, and export-related cash incentive schemes to be provided, and also finalization of the cybersecurity policy. And also try to look at rationalizing the import duties on components so that your local IT companies stay competitive at a global level. In terms of infrastructure, once again, like I mentioned earlier, the learnings from the other Asian peers is to see how we can have PPP-focused IT parks in tier 2 and 3 cities in Nepal so that we decongest Kathmandu. And how can we build infrastructure for the IT ecosystem, leveraging the town development fund at the city level. And third, on education and skilling, I think interventions are required right from the school education up to the higher education level in terms of having industry collaborated designed courses and government and industry certified programs so that it gives the comfort for the students as well that they have an authenticated training programs. And all this also should be supported by IT incubation centers at tier 2 and 3 cities so that the youth can start trying their new innovative ideas. And moving to the last part on ease of doing business, this has been highlighted from yesterday across multiple presentations I've seen. I think it's important to streamline the regulations to start and do business. And the second is to have clearly defined standard operating procedure or SOPs for IT procurement services by government agencies. And the second is to also look at whether having a streamlined or different norms for procuring from local companies within a particular geography in Nepal. And all these information needs to be published in the foreign languages as well, because we have seen that from our experience, many of the government regulations or documents are published in the local language to give the comfort to foreign investors to publish in specific foreign languages as well. And the last is to have promote the local IT enterprises in the various international forums so that you give the visibility for your companies. With this, I would like to conclude my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Karthik. Thank you to our esteemed presenter for providing a comprehensive overview of the ICT sector in Nepal, India, and South Asia as well. The advancements and innovations that are showcased are truly remarkable. And now, without any further delay, may I please request our moderator of this session to kindly take over with the proceedings.
Thank you very much. I hope yes, okay, thanks for that. And it's a great honor for me to be here. First of all, let me thank the Honorable Minister for Communications and IT for being present here. Ma'am, your leadership in the sector has been really inspirational. And I'm very happy to be sharing this stage with you. And of course, with the respected panelists who are also here, representing different aspects and expertise within the country and also globally. to really bring a great conversation together. Let me also quickly thank Investment Board and congratulate them on a very well put together summit. I know it's been a lot of hard work for you, and thank you for having us all here. I just want to make one quick request, is please turn off your cell phones. And if you do want to have conversations, which I'm sure will be interesting, please do them outside. It's a relatively small room, so the voices travel quite a bit. Without much further ado, I'm going to get started with the panel. We have 5 panelists, so I've actually already had a bit of a discussion with them and asked them that we will stick to time. You might see me waving frantically if I see that there's a time coming to the limit. But let's get started. I'm going to go alphabetically by last name in forward and reverse order for the different questions. So let me start off with the first question. I'd like to invite our panelists to tell us a little bit about their engagement or their role in developing the digital economy in Nepal. Let me get started with Mr. Bhandari. So, over to you. I think you have your microphone, yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Siddharth. To foster the digital economy in Nepal, first we have to accelerate the digitalization, and then we have to strongly emphasize the building the robust foundation in ITC. And the NTA is essential, guaranteeing the strong foundation in the country, especially in the legal, soft, and hard infrastructure. The NTA's TOR is to provide the reliable telecommunication services, which is available to everyone, accessible, and affordable. And then to promote the telecommunication industry with the healthy competition, accessible to all. And the other one, the main, our role to government is the advisory role, where we advise government for the plan, policies, programs. The other thing is here we are working on the emphasizing the regulatory framework, which with the thematic areas of digital regulation, like coordination, consumer affairs, data protection, and trust, and the digital innovation gap. The other one is we just thinking how we can encourage for the new technologies in the country, like 5G, FWA, AI, blockchain, IoT. These are our core areas. And to cater the digital, to help the digital economy, then what sort of digital structure, digital foundation we have right now in the country? Currently, we have around 86 towers in the country, 25,000 optic fiber network. The active population penetration voice is 86, and broadband connectivity is 99. And our FTTH connection to the household is 3 million currently, which is 45% of our household number. The other one is our peak hour data catering is 1.4 terabyte per second currently. And out of which 15% is telco and 85% is from the ISP. And this is our existing data catering capacity of the country. Out of this, ISP is catering IP transit 25 to 26. This is all about our digital foundation, which we cater in the country.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Let me turn over to Mr. Bhattarai. Manoharji, yes. Tell us a little bit about your engagement with the digital economy here.
Thank you, Siddhartha. I come from IT background. I started my career decades ago. So started with started in the technical domain. Then I got interested in policy and strategy space, and that resulted also in me working for the government. Briefly, I was in an outfit called High-Level Commission for Information Technology that was chaired by the Prime Minister. I served as the vice chair, And I think I must elaborate a little bit on this because you should know as to where I'm coming from in terms of my engagement. So back then, we were engaged in a couple of policy and strategy initiatives. And in terms of policy initiatives, I was involved in drafting Nepal's first IT policy. That was way back, of course. And of course, the other thing that I was involved in, and very passionately involved in, was the development of Nepal's e-government master plan. And that was also years ago. And in terms of relatively more recent engagement, I was involved in drafting Nepal's digital Nepal framework. There's an ambitious umbrella framework that the government has launched. So I had the opportunity to play some part in that. So that was my involvement there. And also I maintained some kind of engagement with the academia. I teach classes and I engage with students and teachers and also involved in a couple of educational outfits. I think I'll keep it at that.
Thank you, Manoharji. Let me turn over to Deepeshji, to you. A little bit about your role in the digital economy. Yeah. Give us just a second. Yeah.
Thank you, Siddharthji. The role of e-governance commission in the digital economy is very, very important. I would like to explain why it is. First of all, I would like to tell all of you that this is the newest organization of the government. So I have to explain you about the structure. The chair of this commission is Right Honorable Prime Minister, and the co-chair is the Minister for Communication and IT, and two of the members who are from a secretary from Prime Minister Office and secretary from Ministry of Communication and IT are also present here. So I'm so glad to explain about the organization in front of them. Yes, we have, in the chairmanship of Right Honorable Prime Minister, 1 year before, the Commission has decided to make the e-governance blueprint. And why it is decided is that we are now making one digital strategy policy so that we can accommodate all the verticals. It is because we are initiating the strong digital identities. That is not only for the individuals, that is also for the companies also. That is being taken care by the Ministry of Home Affairs. But if we talk about the data governance, coordination between the verticals, suppose the Ministry of Health also has the database, and the Ministry of Communication, Ministry of Education also has the database, but no one has till defined the relationship between the database. So what is happening? We are collecting the data multiple times. So what we are doing is that now we have to stop working in silos. We have to connect all the systems which are being automated. So we are working on that. And for that, we have also decided to establish the data exchange platform. In GovStack model, there are basically 3 layers. One is the electronic ID, that is national ID for us. Second is the payment layer. Yes, we have very good initiation in payment, but we are totally missing one layer in Nepal, and that is data exchange layer. So we are collecting data multiple times. A birth registry from the ward office, if that birth registry can be used, a birth registry in the hospital, if that can be used by the ward office, then the person who goes to register the birth registration in the ward office would not require the document from the hospital. So we are trying to make the ecosystem of data so that the people will not go run for the service, the data will run. So we are basically focusing on that. And regarding, we are also focusing on drafting different policies. The cabinet has already given us consent to draft the e-governance act, so we are drafting the e-governance act on the basis of the blueprint. We are also drafting the personal data protection policies. So these are some of the initiatives that e-governance commission is taking. Thank you.
Thank you, Deepeshji. Let me turn over to you, Adityaji.
Namaskar, and thank you, everybody. I'm going to take cue from Mr. Bhattarai that first you tell about where you come from. I grew up in a village in Tarai near Janakpur, but most of my studies happened in India. The last degree I was pursuing was PhD in computer science many, many years ago from Jawaharlal Nehru University, and then moved on to, went to different parts of the world, France and Singapore. Singapore, I worked for a software company as a principal systems consultant, and also I taught at the National University of Singapore as a visiting faculty, then went to Australia, and finally landed in Canada. And Canada had a very good break, started with Bell Canada, one of the largest company. Within a very short time, became a general manager, and within 5 years decided I don't want to work for anybody. Had an idea, timing was right in life. So I started a software company with a very good funding from a US-based venture capital company. And that company got acquired by Sun Microsystems for a humongous amount of money at that time. And when I thought that I'm a very smart guy, very successful, and then my failures started to happen. And then I left technology for some time, bought a chocolate factory which was being closed down by Cadbury, and it was totally out of the, I have no manufacturing background, no chocolate making background, but I took money-losing Cadbury business, made it profitable the very first year, and then sold it in 2.5 years. About 7 years ago, I bought a small software company which was being divested by a company which was funded by World Bank in Washington, D.C., and now we are running that company. And about 5 years ago, and I should give credit, or maybe a little bit of discredit to Upendraji, who is sitting here. He used to goad me and say, Nepal mein bhi jaiye, kuch kariye, kya yahan pe hero bante hain, kafi nahi hai. That's something like that. He will say, tell me in Mathili. And I did think about it, that there's a saying, and Malay Teti Nepali aunde na, so I'm very weak in that. So I said, oh, there's a saying, that jungle mein mor nacha kisne dekha. So I said, I have to come here. And very clear objective I had. And that was, go to Nepal, pick an area, build a world-class, proven brand and product, and then take it to the world. And this is not my idea. I saw in America, if you all look around, how government has been the catalyst. If there was no Department of Defense and there were no ARPANET and all that, government funded, all these big companies who look like a very high-tech, they would be nowhere. Whether it's a defense industry, whether it's a tech industry, they all got to try things for government, but more than that, once it was proven, they have taken to the world. I chose the area of public procurement because the company I had bought, Varun is sitting here, we both decided to take in Washington, was in the public procurement, came here, and I thought, if we can make it the best for Nepal, then that becomes my baby, which I can take all over the world and make lots of money here, even if I don't do. 5 years I slogged here, and for various reasons, I could not impress that government has a role to help build a ecosystem. And that's a sob story. And taken a 1 year hiatus and have decided to re-enter and see, can we do something else? Maybe just forget about the government here. Though I think we should not, because ultimately for Nepal to go up, and Siddharth would say that society to lift. Only one thing I would say, that I read a very famous book written by a leftist kind of guy whom I don't like, but he writes very well, Jeffrey Sachs. And it was the book titled End of Poverty. And you read that book, it's so fascinating. The entire wealth creation in this world is the story of less than 300 years old. Every part of the world was poor, everybody was poor 300 years ago except for 2 countries, China and India. And there were only few rich people in these places. And how the Western society, starting from England, started becoming more developed, rich, and dominating. And the primary reason of that was technology. right from the agriculture days. Any country which has adopted technology, they have progressed phenomenally. And so it would be, when I said the sob story, I hope there is some time. And in fact, I said, debate with me when we were in that speaker's lounge. I said, debate with me that why my way is not the highway. So I'm going to just stop there.
Thank you. Thank you. Can I get someone from the tech team up here, please, to assist us with the tech issue? Excuse me, sorry. Can I get someone from the AV team up here, please? Thank you. Jabur, over to you. Tell us a little bit about the work you do and your role in the digital economy in Nepal. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before I'm going to start, namaskar and very good afternoon. I'm very pleased to be here. I think I'm the one representing private sector and famous Ncell, very well known in Nepal. And I think when it comes to digital economy in Nepal, I think the role is quite huge. Before I'm going to tell you about Ncell, or at least remind about the Ncell, let me just ask you about, everyone knows E-Seva here, right? Everyone knows that Nepal is one of the most advanced South Asian countries when it comes to mobile financial service adoption. Everyone is using QR codes. Some of us might be using Patao, and we know Patao as a brand, and Patao is kind of Uber solution here and platform, and one of not many of these type of solutions that are profitable. So I don't think we can imagine any of these services without mobile operator providing mobility and connectivity. So the future of digital economy of Nepal, I don't think is even possible without companies like Ncell. The journey of Ncell itself was very interesting, and I think it's a big success story for Nepal. At the beginning, when Mero Mobile was there, and then Tele came with the international expertise as one of the first foreign direct investments. We all benefited everything we could, and it's a really good case study. 2G technology, 3G technology, 4G technology, and everything happened in 15 years only. So telecom industry as such is very unique from investment perspective. It's capital intense, and it requires a lot of attention, focus, and know-how. So Nepalese and the country as Nepal won't be left behind and will have access to the latest solutions. The rest of the world is speaking about 5G, and I'm glad that our regulator was speaking that we are envisioning 5G. Ncell is there, is here for Nepal, which means that we appreciate and welcome discussions and dialogue, and obviously happy to share the expertise and contribute into the bright future. Looking ahead, some people sometimes asking me, including the question I've been asked, how you see your role in the digital economy in Nepal. They ask me, what is the thing that is not letting you sleep well? So there are many things, but me as a person, I'm quite positive and optimistic person as a personality. So, you know, customers want more, they want 5G. The revenue and profitability of the industry was going down for the last 5 years, and it's not a secret. And without the profit, with a high demand of investment, the future becomes a bit more challenging. But I see Nepal as very lucrative destination still. And I think one of the positive signs is actually this summit where we talk about things that has to be addressed, and we're not shy to discuss them and address them. So I see this event as such being one of the good points, and I welcome that government is actually initiating these discussions. I think NTA initiatives and other players and ministry initiatives are quite promising in recent past, I should say, and we're looking forward to see how we can address our customers or Nepalese need at par with the rest of the world and the latest technologies. So the role of Ncell is small, but possibly adding a lot of value. Thank you.
Thank you for that. All right, so we've gone through one round of our discussion. Thank you. Let me move on to the next question that we have again to all the panelists. Let's now talk a little bit more specifically about investment into Nepal. So The question that I have for all of you is, how important are private and foreign investments for growth of the digital sector, broadly construed? And what's the most critical obstacle in attracting private and foreign investment into the digital economy in Nepal today? So maybe Bhupendraji, back to you to get started. Yes, sorry, you'll have to get the... Someone's phone ringing?
Thank you, Siddharth.
Okay.
Actually, why we need foreign investment is it's not only for the money investment, because ICT is not only for investment. We need for the technology transfer, capacity enhancement, and which accelerate our innovation, infrastructure development, and market expansion. And we need that for our sector. And when we bring the FDI, this can be a catalyst to enhance the existing operation for the, to optimize their business performances. The other one is whatever network and whatever the digital foundation we have current today, I see a lot of network is not utilized. It is unproductive, and we need some investor who has innovation, who has an idea, who can use this, optimize this investment to the maximum level. The other thing is here, what are the critical things to invest in the country? Still, I think we have to massively work in the ease of doing business. And I see there are a lot of ordinance, recent ordinance came in place, and which will help to ease the business. And this is the main area where I see that we have to work on. The other one is we have a lot of talent pool in the country, but what is lacking is lack of our branding and marketing of our products and our talent pool. That these are the main areas where I see that the critical areas. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Let me turn over to Manoharji, to you. Tell us a little bit about your views on why foreign and private investment is important for the digital sector, but also maybe your view on some of the obstacles for that kind of investment.
So I think the role of private and foreign investment is extremely important. If you look at the history of outsourcing industry, if you will, especially if you look at the countries around the region, especially if you talk about India and all. So the outsourcing started on the back of this model called body shopping, whereby the companies there try to capitalize on what they call labor arbitrage or cost arbitrage. So that means that something that there's a cost differential between getting things done in the US and also in Nepal. So there's a comparative advantage that a country like Nepal or India had to offer, in terms of cost. So I think that model no longer holds true in these days. At the end of the day, IT companies are working as partners in value creation. So I think the paradigm has shifted a bit in terms from only providing cost advantages to a situation where the partner companies, the IT companies, also focus on bringing in some values to these global outfits. So I think from that perspective, it's very important, especially in relation to foreign investment. It's not only money that they bring in; they also bring in expertise. They also bring in the management expertise, and they also bring in the link to the market, and they also bring in the practices and methods for positioning these companies to create value. So I think from that perspective, it's very important to the whole the idea of bringing in investment, not only from the perspective of creating employment and growth. In terms of obstacles, I think currently I'm also working on some policy deliberations, IT bill and the like. So there are issues, of course, but then again, at the end of the day, I won't call it an obstacle, but I think there's some clarity that needs to happen on the policy space and the regulatory space. So I think we need to address that going forward. But on the whole, the overall ecosystem is favorable from the policy and regulatory perspective as well. But then again, there's a lot of room for improvement going forward. So I think I don't have specifics on as to what is the bottleneck there in terms of attracting investment in this sector. But then again, if I had to pick up one space where we need attention going forward, that is the space of policy and regulatory framework, and we need to have some kind of policy stability going forward. So I think that will be one element of it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. Let me turn to Dipeshji. Your views.
As I am working in e-governance commission, and the basic foundation for e-governance is the digital public infrastructure. So what I think is the investment from the private sector and from the foreign investors, if that could be in the digital public infrastructure, then that will contribute Nepal a lot. So what are digital public infrastructures? Let us take one example of a digital signature. If a person from US has to come to Nepal for the signature for passing his share, then this will not contribute to the digital economy. So we should make such a system, such an ecosystem, so that a person, wherever he is or she is, can do business here by digitally signing from the digitally signing remotely. So this can be one investment sector, and and another thing, we also have now the final draft of e-governance blueprint, where we are planning for the 3 to 5 years investment, 3 to 5 years the plan for the e-governance. So that will also provide you some of the menus where the foreign investors and the private sectors could be interested. So yes, the investment of the private sector and the foreign sector is very, very important for us.
Thank you. Thank you. Let me turn over to Dr. Jha. Your views on the importance of maybe foreign investment, if you'd like to focus on that.
I have a very contrarian view on investment. And I'm just going to throw it. First of all, I look at Nepal, the whole model of getting borrowed or gifted money to develop the country, I think it's fundamentally flawed. It may be initially, it can be the base of the thing, but it can't be. Look around ourselves. Look at India. Today, it's amazing for the numbers you will look at. Saudi Arabia's oil revenue is about $450 million. And some of you may be surprised that India's IT revenue is $250 billion. $250 billion. Is that revenue because there was a foreign investment into India? No, people came, we were running, they came, IBMs and all that. They realized I can leverage India and then go and bring revenue from outside the world. So I am just throwing this contrarian view that for Nepal, I think it should be worth considering finding people, our diaspora people who have done very well in the IT sector, like the way you see from Saudi, a Nepali comes, not only he comes, but he brings a big baksas of something. So if we can attract people from outside to come themselves, set up here, bring money, and build up the economy. Government role, in my view, should be more like a catalyst. In India, the entire, I'm using India as an example, entire development of IT sector was despite of government, not because of government. Only great contribution in India, government did what they stayed away from them. They allowed Infosys and Wipro and others, because this whole mindset of ownership, entire thing is an ego, every government department, procurement, you want to hold it. Look at Encel person. Imagine if somebody needed a mobile services and they started thinking about multiplexes and PBXs and fiber optic. No. What you need is a dial tone. A dial tone, if some company can provide, you can do the entire telephony based on that thing which is in the cloud. The cloud people talk about now, but telephony had been in the cloud forever, from the beginning. So government's role has to be more in terms of providing, ensuring the public services are given. The private companies have to give that services, build it. So I have a little contrarian view. I think for Nepal to do differently, even the World Bank and ADB should start thinking, let them find a ways. I have, next question I'll tell you, how we can get money without going to them with a begging bowl, give me more money and give me more money. Okay? So I'm just going to leave it at
that. I'm tempted to respond to that. No, it's a very interesting question. I'm sorry, I'm just going to take a privilege of being the moderator here just to pick a little bit of this story. And in fact, you mentioned this very interesting point as well earlier on, which is that the Department of Defense in the US had a huge role, in fact, an absolutely catalytic role to create the internet. And I think one of the things that the Indian IT sector benefited from was the reputation of the skills base, which was embedded in institutions like the IITs and IISCs and so on. And of course, a very good legal and regulatory environment. So I think, if I may just put a little bit of a point on what you were saying, to draw on what you were saying, I think building a little bit on, in fact, some of the comments being made here already, the role of the enabling environment, the ease of doing business, the business climate, and those long-term investments that are needed, where it may be difficult for the private sector to realize a commercial viability at a short term, whether it is expanding access into rural areas, for example, for the internet, or it is in investing in high-tech skills, where the payoffs are oftentimes, as we say, the economic rate of return is much higher than the financial rate of return. I think it's a question of finding those kinds of areas where the public investment can be more fruitfully applied. So I think that's an interesting viewpoint. Let me turn over...
30 seconds, if you allow me.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. It's not only in the development of internet what Department of Defense did it. Even today, the latest and the greatest fighter planes United States make, because Department of Defense allows Raytheons and others that go and build something crazy. Go and do it, something crazy. Here is a prove it to me. Are you the lowest bidder? And do I have the right connection with you? So that is not the way to build the industry. What I'm trying to say that we have to maybe create a sandbox of development of ICT sector. I'm going to use it in a technical way. And then allow at least a small sandbox where we can say, demonstrate, yes. Why not Nepal? If Bangalore can do, Hyderabad can do. I had seen Hyderabad growing, and I'm going to stop here, that how Chandrababu Naidu did it. He took a challenge of shifting focus from Bangalore. It was the year 2000. Hyderabad, ground up, he built it. Today, Hyderabad is one of the top.
Yeah, thank you. And in fact, this also reminds me of this one important thing. Sorry, Japur, we're going to come to you in just a second. Example of Hyderabad, of course, and the role of the government there. One of the things also about the Indian IT story in some ways, what a lot of people may often forget is how closely tied it was to the nuclear program and the space program in India. And at that time, in the 50s, as you know, India just got independent in 1947, and a few years later, there were already satellites being constructed in that country and being launched. And as you know, today, India is among the big commercial providers as well of space launch services in the world. There were lots of questions being raised at that time, that is this a worthwhile investment? But it was a kind of visionary mindset that I think pays off, whether it is to do with the private sector and enabling those entrepreneurs and innovators, or it is to do with creating the right kind of environment and investing in the people, really, to build up that kind of ecosystem there. Sorry, Japur, we took a bit of the stage away from you. Over to you to talk a little bit about foreign investment, private investment. Over to you.
I still think that discussion was very valuable, because it's not about black or white, and it's not about Is it important or is it not important? I think foreign direct investment is important. Is it critical? Not necessarily, but is it important? Yes. We know all these good cases around the world: India, China, Dubai, Singapore, Saudi Arabia. Don't they have money? They have a lot of money, right? And are they still hunting for the investor? They do. So it's not only about the money attraction, which is pretty much as an oxygen, I would say a shot of adrenaline into the economy, right? We need investment to make sure that we move fast and we won't be behind. But what is more important, what comes along with the foreign direct investment is obviously the expertise. It's a different point of view, and this is what actually makes it more lucrative, because it becomes a more strategic investment into the future. I mean, Ansell has a great story. I mean, again, I'm repeating myself, but when Nordic company came here, there have been a lot of know-how. A lot of people who work as of today in Ansell, they've been trained by European standards. And that is the quality that is cascaded down to the customers, right? And every Nepali is getting equally good, that is doubtable now, but equally good quality of service with LTE. Now the job is to make sure, and my job as a CEO is to make sure that I attract not only investments from my shareholders as a capex that's required for this business, but I also invite the know-how from the rest of the world. We recently signed this MOU with Etisalat, which is almost #1 brand in the region. So it's not about investing money, it's about the skills, it's about access to the knowledge that we as a company have, and obviously country as Nepal should keep the door open for those things that we as a country can benefit, right? But the question was two parts. It's the importance of the foreign investment, which is pretty much important from two point of view, financial and expertise-wise. And the second is, what are the obstacles, you said, no? Mm-hmm. Okay, let me take a long note I have. No, but then, listen, guys, we have obstacles as a company. We have obstacles as an individual in our life. Life is all about facing the challenge and overcoming it together, right? So in industry, we have a lot of obstacles. Somehow revenue is going down, as I mentioned to you. The profitability is going down, as I mentioned to you. And we as a company, we want to give to Nepalese, it's not business only for us. It's connectivity, it's access, it's a bigger mission. Ansell is huge in terms of the contribution to the country economy. 300 billion Nepali rupees paid in taxes and fees. Isn't it huge? It's huge. Thank you. At least one person. No, but then, guys, Ansell's story is misinterpreted. Ansell, and not only Ansell, industry, telecom industry, ICT industry, undervalued, underestimated, and neglected to a certain extent. I'm glad we're having this panel. I hope it's going to be the next year or whenever these panels will be more, because this is important. Nepali people deserve to have access to the latest technology. And if we're not going to take care of the main players, those who are taking care of industry, we're putting the future into the risk. So obviously, obstacles, plenty of them. We have a new chairperson of in NTA. We have a minister who is very advanced. And I'm looking forward with a very much of optimism that we can overcome. Difficult times create strong leaders. And I think we have them in place. We just need to be bold in making those decisions, having this dialogue on difficult topics, and not to be scared or not to be disappointed by having them. It's fine. I'm sure every single country has it. Every successful country has those obstacles. But what they do well, they discuss, they make decisions, they take responsibility, and they define their future. So, yes, we need foreign direct investments. I think so.
Let me ask you to hold your microphone. We're going to go in reverse order for the last question, and I'd like to thank everyone for keeping to time, also allowing a little bit of banter among us. Jabur, I'll start with you this time, just going in reverse order for the last question that we have. And it's in a way a little bit of a follow-up to what you were just talking about, which is if you had to think about one, and this is of course the same question for all the panelists, if you had to think about one area of focus for investment in the digital economy in Nepal, what would that be? And if you had to think of one, let's say, value proposition to share with an outside investor, what would that be? So one area of investment and one value proposition for Nepal. Over to you.
I won't say it's Ansel, even it is, but you know, for those who know me, they've heard me saying, me as Jabor was professionally born in Nepal. I came here first time as getting the foreign assignment, and I just came back a year ago to get this role and see what I can do in terms of helping the company and country. I think what impressed me between my first assignment almost 15 years ago and now is youth. I think the young generation of Nepalese are so different. They're impressively advanced, impressively out-of-box thinking, and I think this is one of the biggest assets Nepal can actually invest into. And we as a company, we actually identify youth as our area of investment. We have a lot of CSR initiatives, right? But obviously, youth is going to be our priority, and I think I see a lot of stakeholders, including government, paying a lot of attention. So I would say that would be my one answer to any questions you're going to ask in terms of the future and investment opportunity of Nepal. Youth, very promising, and if we will manage that investment in the proper way, and it's again, not only about the money, and keep them in the country, not locking them, but making the country more lucrative. And again, companies like Ansel, we work a lot to make sure that those people have opportunities to actually realize and execute their talents and feel fulfilled. Because I'm sure every Nepali wants to stay and make this country great and very different. And I think we have a huge potential there. Thank you for the question.
Sure, of course. Dr. Jha, over to you.
Before I answer my question, I'll go back to Jabor. I think I missed conveying that there are areas of heavy infrastructure, like telecom is a heavy infrastructure. Oil, Saudi Arabia, all these are infrastructure. China, the world's factory, is infrastructure. Focus. You definitely need foreign direct investment, significant, humongous money you need. What I was trying to say that in the knowledge economy, the real investment is the people. If Nepal, if tomorrow by magic wand, or if I had the say in the office of Minister Rekha Sharma, that Adityaji, you go and ensure that 1,000 people total are trained in next 18 months in AI and Java and some of these areas. You do that, read the book by Lee Kuan Yew, where he talks about how precision industry came to Singapore by just having 300 trained people in the precision industry, and the Swiss companies flocked there. So I was trying to say that you should differentiate that for this economy to grow, and I'm taking example of India again, is that we need to let these software guys and services guys, how they can grow that thing. And now coming back to your question, what is the two areas, as you said? One is that we would like to invest. I would invest in retooling, reskilling, and skilling of young people in this country. What I just said, that let's make a national mandate. I wish World Bank would fund it and ADB will fund it and bring people like us who are much older now. I'm in a different stage of my life, that how would we have a world-class group of 1,000, 1,500? I bet you Apple will take a beeline here. If there are 100 people who can do that kind of programming here, they will come directly. Not investment, they'll bring the business, their business here. So I would invest in the area of training, retraining, and skilling the young people, or the people who are professionals. That's the one thing. If I had to choose how I would like to build something, I think I would like to say that we should think in a very different paradigm. There should be a paradigm shift. This whole approach, anything you want to do in Nepal has to go through the bidding process, budgeting. There are people like us, we would bring money, the service, everything. You just pay for what you use. And I will take the telephone is a great example. I ran the national procurement system for this country for 5 years. If I had a way and I said, I don't need your money. Let me buy the entire hardware, build the software. You decide the policy. You become the police of the service, policy of the thing. We will build the entire thing. I don't need your money a penny. He said, Aditya ji, how will you do it? I said, every bidder for a year, I'll charge 10,000 rupees. They'll get 724 support, everything. We had, when we left, about 40, 50,000 people we had. Imagine, multiply 50,000 with the 10,000 rupees, 5 crore rupiah, 5 crore is there. And that gives me a different kind of, the more my service gets used, I'll start getting money from that. I don't need government money. But that will not go with the established way of control. It is not about what is the right way. It is about the poor man's view of controlling the entire process. And that's the problem.
Thank you. Deepesh ji, tell us about, from your perspective, one area of where an investor can focus if looking at Nepal, and then also what would be a value proposition that you would provide to them?
Yes. First of all, I think all of we agree that for the digital economy, the basic foundation is the e-governance system. For example, in one of the countries in the world, they are saying that they are providing the proactive government. What does that mean? A child born, and after the birth of the child, in 2 days, they got the message from the government that, congratulations, you got the baby girl, in which account, according to our country, you are subjected for the child benefit. Tell us in which account you want to deposit it. So the people is not going to take the service. The government is going to provide the service to the people. So how it will be possible? And for our economy, for the digital economy, the basic thing we have to make is that we have to make the e-governance ecosystem. And for e-governance ecosystem, we need to invest in digital public infrastructure. We can learn from the India stack model. We can learn from the country like Rwanda. We can learn from the country like Estonia, where the public and private sector work together and they make the long-term projects, and they work for the viable projects. So, and another thing, there is the difference between digital government and the digital society. We are not only trying to make the digital government. Digital government means it provides the public service delivery, public services to the people. The digital society means when we establish data exchange platform here in Nepal, the data from that data exchange platform can be used by the private sector. See, in our situation, we are storing our address many times. Who is the owner of the address of the citizen? We are trying to make the custodian of the ownership of the data. So if we refine the data of what we collect from the government, then based on that data, based on that standardization, the private sector can use that data to make the AI software. If we make our system, that open data, if we bring the open data policy, then that can be used by the private sector for the business. So yes, regarding the investment by the private sector or the foreign investors, there are two main verticals. One is education and another is health, which contribute for the sustainable growth. And it will be the long-term investment. There can be the AI softwares which will screen the cancer, or there can be the e-learning courses. So these can be the areas for the long-term investment by the private or the foreign sectors. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Let me go to Manoharji. Your view on one area of investment focus and one value proposition.
Siddharth, it's very difficult to pick up one area of focus. The usual suspects come to mind, especially when you're exploring investment avenues. Of course, these are software development and IT-enabled services and BPMs and innovative innovation in R&D and the like. But there's, I think, opportunity also exists in the area of developing proof of concepts around these emerging technologies. As it happens, I think we have not as yet seen compelling business cases around some of the emerging tech, like, for example, AI also. I think there's a lot of scope, a lot of headroom for improvement, especially integrating it in our socioeconomic fabric, and there's a lot of room there for innovation and all that. So in terms of areas, these are the areas that come to my mind. But then again, I'm especially encouraged by Mr. Jha's assertion that, look, at the end of the day, this is digital economy, and in digital economy, the factor of production is skill set and competencies. So I think we need to look at it from that perspective. And I'm not fixated on FDI per se, I must tell you. I mean, I'm more interested in investment per se, you know. So it can be domestic investment, it can be foreign investment, but I think we mentioned about reskilling, retooling, upskilling, and the like. I think that's very important. And the other thing I want to share one encounter that I had with one of the very bright upcoming entrepreneur when we were having lunch. And looks from the IT perspective, it appears that it sounds that as if Kathmandu is the center of gravity and everything's happening here. Mm. And all of a sudden we're talking about Pokhara. I mean this, there's an interesting, we're talking about interesting application, interesting product called RestroX. I think, I don't know if it's politically correct to name the product here, but I think at the end of the day, we should be picking up the winners as well. So let me name the product, RestroX. I think I was really impressed by the level of the support that the project is enjoying globally. It's about managing restaurants and all that, and this is emerging from, of all places, from Pokhara. So it looks like on the whole, things are looking up for Nepal. And also there is another platform called Programmage. That is online training platform that teaches you Java and Python. So the number there is also amazing, 20 million users. And again, that's a product out of Nepal. So again, look at the potential there. So I think the potential exists. And of course, it's very difficult to pick up one area, but again, in terms of value proposition, I would say that it's the skill set that exists. And I'm not talking about existing skill set. I'm also interested in the potential of this, the potential that exists in nurturing the skill set so that they can compete in global scale. I have already given you a few of the winners there. I can give you more, but for the want of time, I will stop here.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you. Bhupendraji, over to you.
Thank you, Siddharth. I mean, I have many potential areas to say, but as you said, we stick with the one. Before saying that, I just want to give you some countries' data. I mean, how we are in the industry, ICT industry, as a telecom regulator. Currently, our mobile data consumption is 3.7 GB, and ARPU is $1.31, and smartphone penetration is 75%. And IoT penetration is in mobile telcos is less than 1%. And our total market revenue is 770 million. And the other thing is as we are gradually increasing towards 5G, and our current mobile handset maturity in the network is around 10%. Having said all this, and the other thing in this industry that is spectrum in the Nepal is, this is actively used is only 12.5% as of today. And that we have huge resource in spectrum that is available for investor, and then that can cater any demand from the investor as well. Having said all these things, this is the duopoly market, mature duopoly market. I see huge demand of third player as a potential area to look into. The other thing is what will be the value proposition? I see that as a market, this is a very progressive market. In digital economy, as I saw some data that 40% of our GDP, the mobile banking transaction is around 40% of our GDP. And as I said earlier, that we have a young, talent, very good, human resource, and sizable market as well. And that we are between the two countries, then we can expand our business to these countries also. This will be the value proposition for our country. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you to all the panelists for excellent responses and views and sharing your perspectives. Maybe just to pick up on a couple of themes and just add a quick word from my side is, I think this one idea of investing in the youth, investing in the talent pool, building up the human capital, I think we all agree that this is really the future is in the people. And as many opportunities we can create, no matter where they are, not just in the Kathmandu Valley, but outside in the rest of the country as well, the better. And in this, I think, the couple of us talked a little bit about the role that the diaspora can play, not just to bring back their talent and their expertise, or their money, but also to share and to act as role models for young people here and talk about where they can go in their future. And something that I'm very glad to see, and I know some of you are here already playing a role in bringing the diaspora, and you yourselves being part of the global Nepali network, bringing your own experiences and resources to that conversation. So I want to also personally recognize you all for that in that. But then finally, I think the role that leadership can play, of course, we have, of course, Honorable Minister here with us. We have the head of the regulatory agency, head of the e-governance commission. I think a lot rests on your shoulders to really take the country forward, create the continuing policy environment and business climate here. Something, again, I think we all talked about a bit. But where I personally have seen not just we talked a little bit about the financial services, which are really well developed in Nepal, much better than some of the countries across Asia Pacific, in fact. Nepal is certainly emerging as a leader on that front. On AI, where there are now multiple companies here that are doing wonderfully in terms of a global presence as well, in terms of business process outsourcing and a number of other areas, cybersecurity and so on, where they're already leaders. Manoj, as you also mentioned a few examples. I think great potential, great stories that can come out of this. So I think, Dipesh, you wanted to add something?
Yes. What will happen in coming years is after the introduction of this data exchange platform, the government will ask each vertical to share some of the data to the data exchange platform. For example, in some of the laws are prohibiting further data sharing. For example, the law concerned for the election commission, it says that the data collected for the election purpose is not allowed to use for any other purpose. So after the amendment of such acts, what will happen? The data from the each vertical will be shared in the data exchange platform. It means that there will not be silos. So based on that, in each vertical, for example, in health ministry, in the coming days, what we have to do is that we have to do business process re-engineering of each vertical. We have to change the way how we provide service to the people. So that can be the huge investment area for the private sector and the foreign investors. Because doing the business process in each vertical, not only in federal ministry, but in province and even in the local government, that can be the huge area of investment. I just want to add this. Thank you.
Sure. No, thank you. And I know we're going a bit over time, so I want to close here again with a word of thanks to all the panelists, our presenter. Thank you, Karthik, for joining us. And I know the Honorable Minister will now make some comments, so I'll hand it back to our MC. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you, audience.
A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for our fantastic moderator and our panelists. Thank you very much to our moderator for summing up such crucial and important points very beautifully. I would now like to request our session chair, Honorable Minister Rekha Sharma, Minister for Communication and Information Technology, Government of Nepal, for her kind remarks. माननीय मन्त्रीज्यूलाई आफ्नो मन्तव्य राखिदिनुको लागि म अब हार्दिक अनुरोध गर्दछु.
धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद। नेपालले आयोजना गरेको लगानी सम्मेलन 2024 मा यस अन्तर्गत आजको यो महत्त्वपूर्ण कार्यक्रममा र यो सत्रमा सहभागी हुनुभएका सबै प्यानलिस्टहरू, मोडरेटर लगायत यहाँ सम्पूर्ण रूपमा यस क्षेत्रका ICT सेक्टरका विज्ञहरू, कर्मचारी साथीहरू लगायत सबै उपस्थित महानुभावहरू, सबभन्दा पहिले म ऐतिहासिक सम्मेलनको यो महत्त्वपूर्ण सत्रमा भाग लिएर महत्त्वपूर्ण विषयवस्तु प्रस्तुत गर्ने प्रविधि क्षेत्रका विज्ञ, विभिन्न देशबाट आउनुभएका अतिथि तथा सहभागी सबैलाई हार्दिक स्वागत गर्न चाहन्छु। सूचना र प्रविधि क्षेत्रमा भएको विकास र विस्तारसँगै नेपालमा पनि यसको प्रयोगमा उल्लेख्य रूपमा बढोत्तरी भएको छ। विभिन्न सार्वजनिक सेवामा विद्युतीय प्रणालीको उपयोग बढेको छ। दैनिक जीवनमा प्रयोग हुने आधारभूत सेवादेखि राष्ट्रिय र अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय महत्त्वका कार्यहरूमा विद्युतीय प्रणालीको उपयोग पनि बढेको छ। राष्ट्रिय परिचय पत्र, MRP, सवारी चालक अनुमति पत्र, नागरिक एप, एकीकृत कार्यालय व्यवस्थापन प्रणाली, कम्पनी दर्ता तथा नवीकरण, कर भुक्तानी जस्ता सेवा प्रवाहका कार्य विद्युतीय प्रणालीबाटै गर्ने गरिएको छ। डिजिटल भुक्तानी प्रणालीको विकास र उपयोगलाई अझै तीव्र र प्रभावकारी बनाउन सरकारले आधारभूत डिजिटल पूर्वाधारको रूपमा देशभर दूरसञ्चार सेवाको पहुँच विस्तारलाई जोड दिएको छ। देशका अधिकांश भूभागमा दूरसञ्चार र अधिकांश वडा केन्द्रमा ब्रोडब्यान्ड इन्टरनेट पुगेको छ भने विद्युतको देशभर सहज आपूर्ति भइरहेको छ। नेपाल सरकारले सञ्चार तथा सूचना प्रविधि क्षेत्रलाई आधारभूत आवश्यकता र राष्ट्रिय प्राथमिकताको रूपमा स्वीकार गरेर सबै विकास नीतिलाई तदनुकूल अघि बढाउने सङ्कल्प गरेको छ। सूचना प्रविधि उद्योगमा लगानी गर्न नेपाली मात्रै होइन, विदेशी लगानीकर्ताका लागि पनि नेपाल धेरै हिसाबले उपयुक्त स्थल हो। हामीसँग सूचना प्रविधि उद्योगका लागि अनुकूल भौगोलिक हावापानी त छँदैछ। दक्ष जनशक्तिको उपलब्धताका कारण कम लागतमा IT उद्योगहरू सञ्चालन गर्न सकिने प्रचुर सम्भावना रहेको छ। प्रत्येक वर्ष 10,000 भन्दा बढी नेपाली युवा सूचना प्रविधिको क्षेत्रमा थप भइरहेका छन् र अहिले पनि झन्डै 1 लाख युवाहरू सूचना प्रविधि सेवा निर्यात क्षेत्रमा क्रियाशील रहेकाले यहाँ दक्ष जनशक्तिको अभाव छैन। सूचना प्रविधिको क्षेत्रमा लगानी वृद्धि गर्ने गरी आवश्यक नीति, कानुन र पूर्वाधार विकासका लागि सरकार प्रतिबद्ध छ। साइबर स्पेसलाई सुरक्षित र व्यवस्थित गर्ने उद्देश्यले पहिलो पटक साइबर सुरक्षा नीति 2080 जारी गरिएको छ भने राष्ट्रिय साइबर सुरक्षा केन्द्र स्थापना भएको छ। त्यस्तै सूचना प्रविधि तथा साइबर सुरक्षा विधेयक तर्जुमाको काम भइरहेको छ। डिजिटल पूर्वाधारको महत्त्वपूर्ण आधार दूरसञ्चार क्षेत्रलाई समयानुकूल व्यवस्थित गर्न दूरसञ्चार ऐनको पुनरावलोकन गर्ने काम भइरहेको छ। दूरसञ्चार पूर्वाधारको क्षेत्रमा भइरहेको दोहोरो लगानीको अन्त्य गर्न पूर्वाधार सहप्रयोगको नीतिलाई आवश्यक पुनरावलोकन गरी प्रभावकारी कार्यान्वयन गर्न जरुरी भएको छ। दूरसञ्चार क्षेत्रमा 5G लगायत नवीनतम प्रविधि र नवप्रवर्तनलाई प्रोत्साहन गर्ने गरी दूरसञ्चार सेवाको रेडियो फ्रिक्वेन्सी नीति लागू गरिएको छ। सूचना तथा सञ्चार प्रविधि नीति 2072, दूरसञ्चार नीति 2060 र ब्रोडब्यान्ड नीति 2071लाई पुनरावलोकन गरी एकीकृत नीति तर्जुमा गर्ने कार्य भइरहेको छ। निजी क्षेत्रबाट डाटा सेन्टर सञ्चालन गर्न उपयुक्त वातावरण सिर्जना गर्न कानुन तथा मापदण्डको तत्काल तर्जुमा गरिनेछ। लगानी प्रवर्धन गर्ने गरी अन्य आवश्यक कानुनको तर्जुमा गर्ने काम पनि सम्बन्धित मन्त्रालयहरूबाट भइरहेको छ। तत्कालै पनि यसै लगानी सम्मेलनलाई मध्यनजर गरी केही कानुन अध्यादेश मार्फत संशोधन गरिएको छ। नेपालमा बढ्दै गइरहेको सूचना प्रविधि सम्बन्धी सेवा निर्यातलाई प्रवर्धन गर्न सूचना प्रविधि उद्योग र स्टार्टअपहरूलाई एकै थलोबाट सञ्चालन गर्ने गरी आवश्यक पूर्वाधारको अभाव रहेकाले चाँडोभन्दा चाँडो IT हबको विकास गर्न जरुरी छ। यसबाट देशभित्र र बाहिरका लगानीकर्ताको पुँजी तथा सूचना प्रविधि क्षेत्रका दक्ष जनशक्तिको ज्ञान, सिप र श्रमको एकीकृत परिचालन गर्ने वातावरण बन्नेछ भन्ने हाम्रो विश्वास छ। सूचना प्रविधि उद्योगको प्रवर्धनका लागि देशभित्र र बाहिरका साना ठुला सबै लगानीकर्तासँग सहकार्य गर्न सरकार तयार छ। विश्व स्तरमा भएका एआई, क्लाउड कम्प्युटिङ, आइओटी, ब्लकचेन जस्ता नयाँ तथा परिवर्तनकारी प्रविधिहरूको विकास र विस्तारबाट नेपालले कसरी लाभ लिने भनेर पनि हामीले तयारी गरिरहेका छौँ। नेपालमा आर्थिक समृद्धिका रूपमा कृषि, जलस्रोत र पर्यटनलाई लिँदै यसका आधारमा गरिने उत्पादन र उत्पादकत्व वृद्धिलाई आर्थिक विकासको सूचकको रूपमा हेर्दै आएका छौँ। अब हामीले आर्थिक विकासको थप आधारको रूपमा सूचना र प्रविधिलाई जोडेर लैजाने नीति अख्तियार गर्नु जरुरी छ र यसमा सरकारले प्राथमिकता पनि राखेको छ। सरकार डिजिटल नेपाल फ्रेमवर्क कार्यान्वयन मार्फत कृषि, ऊर्जा, पर्यटन, शिक्षा, स्वास्थ्य, वित्त, शहरी पूर्वाधार लगायत सबै क्षेत्रलाई डिजिटलाइजेसन गर्दै डिजिटल रूपान्तरण मार्फत आर्थिक समृद्धि हासिल गर्न चाहन्छ। लगानी सम्मेलन मार्फत हामीले सञ्चार तथा सूचना प्रविधि मन्त्रालयको तर्फबाट डाटा सेन्टर, आइटी टेक्नो पार्क, कम्प्युटर हार्डवेयर एसेम्बली प्लान्ट, आइसिटी ट्रेनिङ सेन्टर, डिजिटल सर्भिस सेन्टर, स्मार्टफोन म्यानुफ्याक्चर तथा एसेम्बल प्लान्ट, इन्क्युबेसन सेन्टर र फिल्म सिटी गरी महत्त्वपूर्ण 8वटा परियोजना अगाडि सारेका छौँ। हामीले अगाडि सारेका परियोजनामा लगानीको वातावरण बनाउन म लगानीकर्ताहरूको विशेष ध्यान आकर्षण गराउन चाहन्छु र यसबाहेक पनि लगानीकर्ताको रुचि अनुसार आइसिटीको सेक्टरमा लगानीकर्ताहरूको रुचि अनुसार थप कार्यक्रमहरू पनि हामी अगाडि सार्न सक्नेछौँ। र यहाँ अहिले हामीले जसरी हाम्रा प्यानलिस्टहरूले र मोडरेटरले पनि केही विषयहरू उठान गर्नुभएको छ र नेपालको विषयमा हाम्रो विष्टजी र भण्डारीजीले केही कुराहरू यहाँ राख्नु पनि भएको छ र म यहाँहरूलाई आग्रह गर्न चाहन्छु, यहाँहरूले जति पनि विषय आइसिटी सेक्टरका विषयमा हाम्रा नीति, नियम, कानुन जो केही समस्याहरू छन् भन्ने विषयमा जे उठाउनु भएको छ र संसारमा जसरी सूचना र प्रविधिको विकास भएको छ र सँगसँगै हामी दुईटा देश, ठुला देश, आइटीमा विकास गरेका देश इन्डिया र चाइनाको बिचमा पनि छौँ। त्यसकारणले गर्दा हामी सबै हाम्रा मित्र राष्ट्रहरूको जसरी आइसिटीमा विकास गर्नुभएको छ उहाँहरूको आकर्षण नेपाललाई बनाउन चाहन्छौँ। लगानी सम्मेलनकै उद्घाटनमा पहिलो सम्झौताका रूपमा हामीले अगाडि सारेको डाटा सेन्टर निर्माण तथा सञ्चालनको परियोजनामा सहकार्य गर्ने सम्झौतामा हस्ताक्षर भएको छ। यसका लागि म नेपालको बिएलसी ग्रुप र भारतको एउटा डाटा सर्भिसेसलाई हार्दिक धन्यवाद पनि दिन चाहन्छु। लगानी सम्मेलनमा सोकेस गरिएका बाहेक डिजिटल रूपान्तरणका लागि सहयोग हुने अन्य कुनै आवश्यक परियोजना पहिचान गरेर लगानी गर्न सकिनेछ। यसका लागि म देशभित्र र बाहिरका सम्पूर्ण लगानीकर्ताहरूलाई हार्दिक अनुरोध पनि गर्न चाहन्छु। डिजिटल फाउन्डेसनका डिजिटल पूर्वाधारहरूलाई सुरक्षित र अन्तर्क्रियात्मक बनाउँदै समग्र प्रणालीप्रतिको विश्वासलाई वृद्धि गरी सुशासन कायम गर्नु पनि सरकारको दायित्व रहेको छ। त्यसका लागि प्रविधि र प्रणालीहरूको सुरक्षित तथा जवाफदेही प्रयोग एवं डिजिटल इकोसिस्टम निर्माणलाई प्राथमिकतामा राखिएको छ। वैदेशिक लगानीकर्तालाई आकर्षित गर्न आवश्यक परियोजनाहरूको पहिचान र लगानीका नयाँ मोडलहरूको खोजीमा पनि सरकारले ध्यान दिनेछ। हामीले अपनाएको सार्वजनिक निजी साझेदारीलाई प्राथमिकतामा राखेर अन्य देशहरूले गरेका सफल प्रयोगबाट समेत लाभ लिने गरी लगानीका मोडलहरू तयार गर्दै लैजान सकिनेछ। मुनाफा आर्जनको वातावरण बनाएर लगानी र लगानीकर्ताको सुरक्षा गर्दै संसारकै उँचो हिमाली मुलुक नेपाललाई सूचना प्रविधिको अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय हब बनाउन सरकार दृढ सङ्कल्पित र प्रतिबद्ध छ। सूचना प्रविधि क्षेत्रको लगानी मार्फत हुने डिजिटल रूपान्तरण र समृद्धिको यो महाअभियानमा सहभागी हुन र यसबाट मनज्ञ लाभ लिन म देशभित्र तथा बाहिरका सम्पूर्ण लगानीकर्ताहरूलाई आह्वान पनि गर्न चाहन्छु। अन्त्यमा यो महत्त्वपूर्ण र ऐतिहासिक कार्यक्रममा भाग लिएर नेपालको डिजिटल रूपान्तरणको महाअभियानमा योगदान गर्ने सबैलाई नेपाल सरकारको तर्फबाट हार्दिक आभार व्यक्त गर्न चाहन्छु, धन्यवाद भन्न चाहन्छु र यहाँहरू सबैलाई फेरि पनि एकपटक नेपाल आइसिटीको विकासको लागि आइसिटी क्षेत्रमा लगानी गर्नको निम्ति अत्यन्तै उपयुक्त मुलुक हो। यहाँ दक्ष जनशक्तिको अभाव छैन र यहाँ जुन नीति कानुनहरू छन् सरकारले परिवर्तन गर्दै लगेको छ। यसका निम्ति आग्रह गर्न चाहन्छु र यहाँहरू सबैलाई कार्यक्रममा जसरी आफ्ना महत्त्वपूर्ण विचारहरू राख्नुभयो त्यसका निम्ति सबै हाम्रा प्यानलिस्ट मोडरेटर लगायत सबै साथीहरूलाई हार्दिक धन्यवाद भन्न चाहन्छु र आजको हाम्रो यो कार्यक्रमको पनि समापन भएको घोषणा गर्न चाहन्छु। धन्यवाद, अभिवादन, नमस्कार।
माननीय मन्त्रीज्यूलाई धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद। उहाँको गरिमामय उपस्थितिले हामीलाई थप उत्साह अवश्य पनि दिएको छ। Our deepest gratitude to our session chair, Honorable Minister, for her presence and participation in this particular session where we talked about ICT. May I now please request our CEO of Investment Board, Nepal, Mr. Sushil Bhatta, to kindly join us onto the stage to present a token of appreciation to our session chair. माननीय मन्त्रीज्यूलाई हामी धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद दिन चाहन्छौँ। आजको यस कार्यक्रममा यहाँको उपस्थितिले हामीलाई अवश्य पनि थप ऊर्जा दिएको छ। माननीय मन्त्रीज्यूलाई यो मायाको चिनो ग्रहण गरिदिनु हुनका लागि हामी हार्दिक अनुरोध गर्दछौँ। यसै गरी अब माननीय मन्त्रीज्यूलाई हाम्रा प्रेजेन्टर र मोडरेटरहरूलाई मायाको चिनो दिइदिनु हुनका लागि पनि हामी हार्दिक अनुरोध गर्न चाहन्छौँ। Thank you to our presenter, Mr. Karthik Appadurai from DTTI India. Thank you very much, sir, for your fantastic presentation. That was quite insightful about the ICT sector and scenario in Nepal and in South Asia. Thank you very much to Mr. Karthik. Our moderator, Mr. Siddharth Raja, Senior Digital Development Specialist at the World Bank Group. Thank you so much for flawlessly managing this session and wrapping up the session on time. Also, our gratitude to Mr. Dipesh Bishta, CEO of E-Governance Commission. सरलाई पनि अगाडि आएर यो मायाको चिनो लिइदिनु हुनका लागि हामी हार्दिक अनुरोध गर्दछौँ। May I also request Mr. Bhupendra Bhandari, Chairman of the Nepal Telecommunications Authority, to kindly step forward and accept this token of appreciation. And thank you very much, sir, for your presence here today. We'd also like to now request Mr. Jabor Kayumov, CEO and Managing Director of Ncell Axiata Limited, to kindly accept this token of appreciation. And thank you very much to Mr. Jabor for highlighting how important the youth are in developing the ICT sector in the world and in Nepal as well. May I please also request Dr. Aditya Jha, an Indo-Nepalese Canadian serial entrepreneur looking and investing in ICT. Thank you very much, sir, for your optimistic remarks when it comes to investing in ICT in Nepal. May I also please request Mr. Manor Kumar Bhattrai, our ICT expert, to kindly step forward and accept this token of appreciation for your presence and your participation here today, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll wrap this session with a group photograph, so requesting all our distinguished guests to kindly join in a group photograph. And thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It is absolutely impossible to not feel a sense of excitement talking about the boundless opportunities that lie ahead for us, the vibrant landscape of ICT investment in Nepal, and the promise, profit, and potential that it offers. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for being with us in this sector. We hope to seize these exciting opportunities and embark on a journey of transformation together. So a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for all our distinguished guests, panelists, and for you for being a fantastic audience with us. We'd now like to announce that there's a 30-minute tea break, so definitely go grab yourself a cup of tea and coffee to energize yourself for the closing session that will follow shortly. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you in 30 minutes. Thank you very much.